everybody, welcome back. My name is Alyssa and this is Into the Heart Wild, and today I am bringing you guys my 10 favorite fantasy book covers that are in my collection. Now, if you watched the previous video where I talked about my least favorite covers, which you will have noticed they're really not that bad. There was really only 2 covers that were really bad in that whole thing. But I spend a lot of time curating my collection to be covers that I genuinely enjoy looking at. So this was very hard. I have 14 books in total picked out, but if you notice, the video is called 10. So I have 4 honorable mentions. So I figure let's go ahead and let's start with those honorable mentions, and then we will jump into the actual 10 that are my favorite. And every time I look at them in my collection, I just go, oh, you're so beautiful. I'm so glad you're on my shelf. Let's jump into the honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention goes to The Wheel of Oshheim by Mark Lawrence, Book 3, and the Red Queen's War. I love the mysteriousness. Like, I love that there's like this lake of water, and there he is standing there. He's got his back to you. He's got the sword. You know, the arm looks strong. I'm a sucker for strong arms. Like, I like the overall vibes that it's sending off. And out of the 3 covers for the Red Queen's War, this one is my favorite. After that comes our next honorable mention, which is actually, I kind of put it on this list because hopefully Bryce from Shelf Centered watches this and he can see my movie cover version of The Hobbit, because in his, he had put his Lord of the Rings versions where he has the movie cover versions, and they look really great. And I think my copy of The Hobbit, which uses a movie still, does the same thing. For the most part, I don't like movie tie-in covers, but I really feel that they did it. They picked a great picture for this one. It's just as aesthetically pleasing to look at. It doesn't focus, you know, on a close-up of Bilbo or anything. It's just, you get the doors, you know, you've got Bilbo standing there. I think it looks great, and I think it works perfectly. And I think this is like one of those things where, yes, you can use movie stills to make good covers. You just have to do it right. The next honorable mention goes to Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey. Does this not give you vintage pinup with a fantasy vibe? Like, look at her. Look at Lessa, because that's who that has to be. There's Lessa. She looks like she's in like this vintage pinup dress and she's riding on the back of her dragon. And I'm just like, this has just the pinup vibes. And I love the pinup like art direction in general. From the vintage pinups and everything. I just think they're so interesting to look at and very just beautiful. And this just gives me those pinup vibes. And so when my friend found this and sent it to me, I was just like, this is amazing. I have never seen this cover before, because Dragonflight's got a couple different covers. But this is just, it gives such interesting vibes, and I really love it. The last honorable mention goes to Anne McCaffrey again for the omnibus edition of the Harper Hall trilogy. This cover is just, it's so pretty. It's one of the things that I love most is how well it really speaks to the characters in the story. This, of course, being Meneley, and then you have Pimer. And this right here, it's amazing. It's a tiny, tiny detail that if you've read the story, you know Beauty, the little queen, likes to sit on Meneley's shoulder and wrap her tail around Meneley. And it's just one of those little things where I was just like, oh my god, I love it. And then we've got Meneley's instrument. We've got, you know, there's Brownie, Diver, and Rocky down at the bottom. Lazy Bones. He's probably one of them down there too. Like all of her little fire lizards are down there, and I love it. It is amazing. And I think the colors are gorgeous. And this is actually a cover that I didn't even know existed because I didn't know a collected omnibus existed for the trilogy. Because the Harper Hall trilogy is my favorite out of the Pern series in general. I just fell in love with it. So when I had found this, I was like, this is amazing. I have to have this. And my best friend came through and found it the day after I asked her to look for it. So yeah, I love it. And look at her skirt has little dragons. There's little dragons on it. Like, just, it's adorable. It's amazing. And I love everything about it. All right, so now those are the 4 honorable mentions. They're out of the way. So now let's dive into my top 10 favorite fantasy covers in my collection. Coming in at number 10, The Shotgun Arcana by R.S. Belcher. This is so cool. Like, so let me get up close. Like, that guy's like dead looking. Like when I saw it online, I thought it was just like this like Western looking dude holding a skull. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And then when it came in, I was like, that guy's dead? Maybe? I still haven't read it because I'm missing the first in the series. But yeah, just like it gives like horror Western vibes. And I think that's really cool. And I love that there's like, I love that like everything is like blacks and grays. And then you have this like red skull like right there in the middle that you like zone in on. Love that. Coming in at number 9, King of Thorns by Mark Lawrence, the book 2 of the Broken Empire. Of the Broken Empire. I have read this one. I just feel that the vibes of this really fit. I'm probably going to say his name wrong. Jorg. That's how I like to pronounce it. I think I heard it's actually like Jorg or something. I don't like that. Anyways, I think like it just really fits like the vibe of his character. Just like, I'm going to sit in this throne and I'm going to slouch on top of all of these dead bodies. And I like the mysteriousness of like having the face half covered and just, again, I think it's another great cover that really captures the character and the story within it. Coming in at number 8, The Traitor God by Cameron Johnston. This book is amazing, FYI. I have read it. I haven't read the follow-up yet, but this one is amazing. One of the things that I love about it though is after reading it and learning Edrin's character, this doesn't fit. It's one of those like, it kind of like tricks you because Edrin doesn't want to be a fighter. He doesn't want to like help people. He does like not necessarily not help people. He just like, he's not a fighter. He would rather go over here when things are fighting than to actually like be a part of it and everything. And so to see this guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get somebody. Like you're just, it's so funny to me. But anyways, like I like the mysterious, like I like how he looks mean and forceful, but then I like how you have like this huge goddess statue in the background, and then you can see all these other statues in the background, which plays more into the storytelling and everything. But I just like, when I see this, when I see him, like I'm just like, what are you getting ready to do? Probably run away from a fight, that's what. Coming in at number 7, and you guys knew this artist was going to show up if you watched my last video. Empire's Ruin by Brian Staveley. It's the first book in the follow-up series to The Skull, The Chronicle of the Unhewn Throne. The biggest thing is it's the orange. I love when you have pictures of just dark colors and then there's that one bright pop of color, because it instantly grabs your attention and makes you go, what's going on in this picture? Why is there this one pop of color? And it makes you like look at the picture and take the picture in, and that's what this does. And on top of that, it's an action scene. You're like, she's got 2 swords, maybe it's a she, I don't know. I haven't read the first series yet and haven't read this one yet. They've got 2 swords in their hands. There's there's a person here that they're clearly fighting against. Like, it's an action scene and it grabs you and you're just like, what is happening? Does this happen in the book? Like, I don't really know how to explain why I like this man's art so much, but I do, because this is Richard Anderson. Just, it catches me. It catches me and I'm just like, there's action and I love it. Coming at number 6 is Penrick's Travels by Lois McMaster Bujold. This is an omnibus, so there's 3 stories in it. But I feel that this portrayal of Penrick suits him very well. The long blonde hair, you know, the very finely dressed. And then, of course, we have all the different demons that live in his head, because that is the basis of the Penrick stories. He has 10 demon ladies living in his head, plus a horse and a lion. But I remember seeing this on the shelf in Barnes & Noble before I even knew about the series, and I was like, that is the cleanest, crispest looking art that I have seen on a cover that I have fallen in love with. I have to have that book. So that is why I like it. It's just, it's clean, it's crisp, it's like, it makes you quite, like, I feel like this right here, like, makes you question, like, what are all the ladies? What's all that about? What's going on up there? Number 5, we have The Forever Sea by Joshua Philip Johnson. This is just beautiful. I mean, a ship sailing through a field of grass? Like, does that not make you, like, look at it and go, what is going on? How is a ship sailing through grass? I still haven't read it, so I don't know how. But I look at it and I'm just like, that's gorgeous. Like, just the color usage, how you can see on the horizon the sun setting or possibly rising, whichever. Just it's beautiful. I just look at it and I just go, oh, you're so beautiful. Coming in at number 5 is The Last Mortal Bond by Brian Staveley. I hope I'm saying that right. This is the last book in the Chronicles of the Unhewn Throne. It's right there on the side. And again, it's Richard Anderson. But this one, it's like you've got the giant bird in the background. I'm a sucker for birds. Okay. I love birds. Okay, so the fact that this is like a huge giant bird, I'm like, I want a huge giant bird. And it's got harnesses on it, so clearly they're riding this thing. Okay. And then we've got 2 people here. Again, we've got like the pop of red going all throughout the cover. And it honestly, like, if you can get real up close, it looks like what I'm assuming is maybe a lady because she got long hair. Could be a guy. Guys have long hair too. But a person with red hair is holding this person. And I'm like, is he injured? Are they injured and they gotta hold them up? What's going on? What is this scene telling me? And again, and this is why I really like action scenes for fantasy books, because this is what draws me in. I look at this and I'm just like, what's happening? What's going on? I need to know. Whereas if you just have words, I'm like, oh, fun, cool, whatever. Don't tell me anything. I want this. I want the action. But yes, this one, I look at this and I'm just like, so much going on in the storytelling of this picture. Coming at number 3, Tad Williams with Empire of Grass. I think it's like book 2 in The Last King of Ostenard. Yeah, because I have book 1 and then I have the in-between book, and then, yeah, so book 2. I think it is just, it's beautiful. It's serene. There's so much green, so much greenery. We've got this statue. We've got all the greenery, the pillars that you're just kind of like, is this a place? Is this an important place? Like, what is this? And I love, like, you can see like the sunlight coming through. Like, it's beautiful when you look at it. And I do believe my sister had sent me this, a picture of it, and was like, hey, this book looks like something you'd be interested in, and it sounds like something you'd be interested in, but the cover and the title feel like something you would pick up just based on those alone, because empire grass. I like greenery. But then the cover just, it plays so well. They just, between the cover with having so much greenery and then the title being empire grass, like they talk to each other, and I love that. And I just think it's beautiful and serene and just calming to look at. And it's very heavy. Coming in at number 2 is 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This is just breathtaking. When I saw the cover reveal for it online, I was like, oh, that's pretty. And then I saw it in stores and I was like, excuse me? That's gorgeous. And I was sold. And then as you can see, like it goes around into the back, but like I said in my last video, I'm not big on like faces being completely 100% drawn out because I like the ambiguousness of not having a pinpointed look for characters, but I think it works well for this because it looks like a painted portrait and it just is jaw-dropping. It's beautiful. Like I look at it and I'm just like, wow. And I still haven't read this. And I know that even if I read this and I don't fall in love with it, I will keep this because this is just, it's a work of art. It's a work of art. Number 1 is by an artist that you guys should have already expected because 2 books that he has done the covers for have already appeared. And I could have made this a whole Richard Anderson list. Kings of the Wild. I have this as my background on my phone. I also, because I have an iPhone, so you can do like little like picture banners or whatever. I have the sketch processes on there as well. I love this. Like I said, like I love that like there's like this ambiguousness behind them, but I love that the entire crew is there and they're all just kind of like standing around. But I love the fact that like Anderson captured the fact that they all look really old, except for Ganelon, because if you've read the book, you know why. But like they all just like, they look worn and tired and they're just kind of like, yeah, we're back in action. Let's go and do this. And I love it. I love it so freaking much. And this was just, I saw this book on Instagram years ago, I think like right after it came out, and I was just like, if I never read that, I have to have it just for that cover. This is the one where whenever I look at it, I just go, perfection. That is a list of all of my favorite fantasy book covers that are in my collection. So do you guys like any of these? Have you guys read any of these? Let me know what you guys think of my choices, if you guys agree with them or not. So until next time, bye.